For most animals, sex is good, and the more the better. But for female Australian jumping spiders, once in a lifetime seems to be plenty. In a new study, the creature resisted researchers' best efforts to get it in the mood: a comfortable piece of crumpled paper in which to build a home, plenty of baby flies to eat, and a new perspective made every 10 days. Here's looking at Surveilla incana, also known as the Australian jumping spider, Photorowan McGinley. Nothing seemed to work. After mating once, they'd just keep kicking potential new partners in the face and scurrying away. Researchers believe the behavior, only now being studied closely, is part of the ongoing battle of natural selection. Males want to pass their genes on as many times as possible, while females are after the best DNA for their spider children. The spiders were given pieces of paper in which to make their retreats. Photorowan McGinley. It's a race between the male and female, says the study's lead researcher Dr. Vivian Mendez. Both males and females benefit from controlling reproduction. After the first time, maybe she only reproduces if it's a really high-quality male. For the study, published in the journal PLOS One in October, Dr. Mendez and her two co-authors from Macquarie University combed through Sydney's parks to gather 89 specimens of Surveilla incana, a very common spider that hides under the dry bark of eucalypt trees where it likes to build its nest. In the lab, the virgin females were allowed to settle down and spin a web, before being introduced to a male. The males were enthusiastic about mating. The females not so much. Photorowan McGinley jumping spiders are famous in the insect world for their elaborate courtship dances. The male moves his legs, pedipalps and soma in a complex routine meant to impress. It seemed to work. Upon seeing the dance, nearly all the female spiders mated at the first opportunity. But after that, they became very picky indeed. The researchers offered them a new mate every 10 days until they died, which took about 6 to 7 months, presenting a new challenge to the research team, which hadn't expected them to live so long. That was solved by simply reusing the same males, who proved quite willing to keep trying their luck. But more than half the females who mated in the retreats never mated again. Those that did generally only mated once or twice more in their lifetimes. Jimena Nelson, a jumping spider expert at the University of Canterbury in Christchurch, suggests one theory to explain the behavior. The female may be storing the DNA in a pouch, allowing her to continuously fertilize her eggs throughout her lifetime. She goes for the first option, as a sort of insurance. If a bigger, more handsome spider comes along, she can simply allow him to replace the contents of her pouch. It may be a case of sexy sons, says Ms. Nelson. Females that mate with males that are somehow deemed attractive will have sons that inherit those traits, and therefore those sons will also find mates. Or, the male might be drugging her. Professor Mark Elgar, from the University of Melbourne, speculates the male spider might include chemicals in his own semen that turn her off sex for life. That would ensure that only his DNA made its way into her eggs. Multiple mating by females is a disaster for males, because it raises the possibility that his sperm do not fertilize her eggs, he says.